So Dennis Allen, man, the Saints finally get rid of him. After losing 7 straight games, man. I'm should this move happen sooner than where we're at now? Like,
Yes. See, that should happen last
come
year.
on, Steve.
Last year. We should have won. Matter of fact, let me go back even further than that. They should have never named him the head coach to begin with. And see, I told you that from the very beginning. If you remember, I'm like, dog, he's not the head. He shouldn't be the head coach. We go a whole another way besides going Dennis Allen. I just didn't like what I saw from him in when he was the Raiders head coach. I just don't think he's a head coach. That's no disrespect to him because you could be a great coordinator and just not be a great head coach. And that's just what I view him as. I just saw enough from him. I didn't need to see anything else. I know you didn't want to lose him on the defensive end. I get that. But I just felt like we could have moved on from him from the very beginning. We should have never hired him. That was a mistake. And no matter how we slice it, the Saints proved that by letting him go at this very moment.
I'll go
All right.
next.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'll go next. So I don't have a problem with the Saints hiring Dennis Allen because he knew the roster. He was a defensive coordinator. So I understand the hire because of the familiarity. But, however, at the end of the day, after these 3 years, everything's obvious. See, you told us you rather have Dennis Allen over Jim Harbaugh.
No.
I think that's one of your worst takes ever. Okay, we got you said to Yvette earlier you like facts. All right, let's talk facts.
Yeah.
Jim Harbaugh, 68% win percentage in the NFL. Been to a Super Bowl. He's won the division, and he's got 5 playoff wins.
The conference.
Dennis Allen,
And hold on.
33%.
How did he end that? That was his first run. That was his first run in the NFL.
Okay.
Right? How did he end that run?
Well, looking at the numbers, really good.
He got fired, is how he ended that run.
He get
Why?
fired because of what he did. They didn't like him
Exactly.
personally.
He got okay.
Come on, let's
How
stop
many
that.
awesome coaches do you know that get fired?
Jimmy Johnson
Belichick,
on the
just
2-peat.
last year.
Jimmy Johnson on the 2-peat. Are we kidding me? Right now?
Belichick just last year.
Jimmy Johnson on the 2-peat got fired. What are we talking about?
Belichick last year.
Come on.
Belichick last
They
year.
moved on from him. They basically fired him.
Jimmy Johnson too. Like
Jimmy Johnson, 2 Super Bowls. Let go.
Jimmy Johnson. Okay, well, we can go with Jimmy Johnson. We can go with Jimmy Johnson. He's actually right. He got fired after a 2-peat. That was moronic, and that was also Jerry Jones.
Okay.
Okay, so we're comparing Jimmy Johnson and John Harbaugh.
No, that's the one.
You just asked for
That's
example.
the question. We answered with facts.
Yeah.
You answered me with facts that didn't line up though.
No, you didn't ask. You didn't specify.
That makes sense. But
You can't. What I'm saying, those facts don't line up. You can't. You're doing apples and oranges. Jimmy
Well,
Johnson.
no, because
Jimmy
you made it
Johnson-
seem like he got
What
fired.
was Harbaugh's record when he got fired?
He hasn't coached since. So he right now in the NFL all time, he's 54
No,
and
the
25.
year he got fired. What was
Last in the
Harbaugh's record?
NFL.
I
So
think it was 8-8.
Okay, and what was Jimmy Johnson's record? A
I
Super
don't
Bowl
know.
win.
Super Bowl.
It was a Super Bowl win.
Yeah.
You're comparing those two. That's your comparison.
You just asked for a comparison. We gave you one.
And I told you that that's not even a fair comparison. It's not.
Well,
even-
because here's the thing. You just said he got fired. Give us coaches that have gotten fired. So we gave you coaches that got fired. You did not specify because of this and this and this.
Right.
At the end of the
But
day,
that's what y'all were telling me, that he didn't get fired because
he didn't though. You got to know the
He got
fact.
fired. He was 8-8.
Why did
No,
he get
he did
fired?
not
He
get
got
fired
fired because of him in front office didn't get along.
Yeah,
You know
he and that
that was
GM did
reported.
not get along.
That's all it
And-
is. It's just front
And,
office.
and of course that GM is going to keep him around when he gets him to the Super Bowl. I mean, you got no choice. But at the end of the day, didn't agree over the roster, so they let him go. It doesn't even matter. The point is, Andy Reid, he spent 14 years in Philadelphia, didn't win a Super Bowl, and got fired. So it doesn't matter if you don't win early on, you don't win at your first stint. It doesn't make you a bad coach. You still makes you a better coach than Dennis Allen. At the end of the day, we like facts. facts are Dennis Allen does not win. 33 win percentage, 33% win percentage, 0 playoff wins, 0 division titles, 0 playoff appearances. He stinks. You'd rather have him over Jim Harbaugh? We got to stop this nonsense. And on top of it, Jim Harbaugh won the national title. On top of it, just as a bonus. So come on, man. You got to stop.
Aren't you the same person that always tells me that who cares about regular season? He didn't win a championship.
I gave you playoff wins. I gave you playoff wins, and I gave you.
Did you give me any Super Bowl wins?
He's got 5 playoff wins.
Did you give me any Super Bowl wins?
Don't need to.
Yeah, you absolutely do, because that's what I told you. I told you neither one of them won anything in the NFL. Don't matter to me.
But doesn't postseason success matter though? Because it does
matter
with
LeBron. Doesn't matter with LeBron.
It matters with a lot of players and coaches. The
LeBron went to the finals 8 years in a row, and y'all call him a scrub.
Postseason,
I have
but the postseason defines who you are, man. It defines who you are and what type of player
LeBron went to the finals 8 years in a row, and y'all talk about him like he's a damn, like he's Dennis Allen.
I got him top 5 all time, so that's nonsense. So
no, I'm saying the words out of your mouth. You say he's a scrub.
No, I don't.
Trash.
No.
He doesn't do it. What's his record in the finals? That's what you say. That's what
you say when I'm comparing him to Jordan.
We going around. Who do you think is the better head coach, Harbaugh or Dennis Allen?
Simple.
That shouldn't even be a conversation, man.
When I say that, I'm going off their metrics. I'm just going off their metrics.
But I'm asking you, like,
asking you now.
I haven't a better head coach.
Yeah.
Yes.
Any coach.
Just admit it, see.
It's okay, bro. You know who the better head coach is.
I'll take Harbaugh. I'll take Harbaugh.
All right, that's all.
Hold up. But we're gonna talk about we're gonna have to actually. You can't bring up a comment I said at a certain time and try to bring it now like it's relevant now without giving context. That's what.
Well, no. All I asked you last year this time because X said he should have been gone last year.
And so I wanted to hire Harbaugh.
Right. So I said, you're right. And X was saying we need to hire Harbaugh. And I said, I agree. That would be smarter. So then I asked you, who going forward last year would you rather have? Harbaugh or Dennis Allen? And now seeing that you changed your mind on who's the better coach, that tells me if you were to go back, you'd say Harbaugh, right?
No.
Okay, you're delusional, bro.
Hold on. I'll ask you again. Because you've never given me a legitimate answer. You've given me an answer. What's Harbaugh great at?
I already told you this on the show. He always has a physical team. Yeah. Defense is always great. Yeah. And sorry, that went with the physical. Physical defense.
Good run game.
Always a good and consistent run game. They're always a run team first, and they always run the ball really well. And that's proven this year as well.
He's good at developing his quarterbacks too.
Yes, that's my third one. He's developed. He made
Dobbins is playing well right now.
Amazing.
Yeah, you did trade him, by the way.
I should
have. Well, those are 3 better things that Dennis Allen is not better at. So
okay, Dennis Allen is a better coordinator, defensive coordinator, in all of those things that you just named.
We don't even know that because Harbaugh's never been a defensive coordinator. So
and Harbaugh's never been in charge of developing a quarterback.
Yes, he has. He's been a quarterback coach.
Not true at all.
He's been
spoke about developing Kaepernick. He developed Kaepernick, literally.
Yeah, he's literally the reason.
When has Dennis Allen been a quarterback coach, bro? What quarterback he's been in charge of developing?
But that's not what you just said. You said Jim Harbaugh.
I said Dennis Allen has never been in charge of developing a quarterback.
Well, he actually was in charge of developing Derek Carr over there, and Derek Carr's been the same player in Oakland that he is now in New Orleans. Same player. That hasn't changed at all.
Can I answer the question?
Yeah, go ahead.
And Kaepernick has never been anything without Harbaugh. It's just
go ahead, my bad. Go ahead.
Harbaugh's never been anything without Kaepernick.
He won national title in college.
In college, we talk about NFL.
Go ahead, Reed. Go ahead.
You're delusional.
Am I in? Let me know.
Go
tag
ahead.
me. I'm in.
You tag.
So I actually I don't want to blame Dennis Allen. I still think the question is up in the air. I blame the GM. You guys are over the cap by a lot for no reason because your team's not. You don't have the talent for the money that your guy has got. Money that you got spent into your roster. So what Dennis Allen is given a roster of what that's overpaid without talent, without enough talent that's going to do anything in the league. So he had to deal with what he had to deal with. So I don't blame him for that. He just got dealt a bad hand. So I don't know what Dennis Allen is, if I'm being honest. Like I don't. If I'm being honest, offensively, I don't see no guaranteed stud. I see some good players. I don't see a guaranteed stud. I don't think Olave is a guaranteed stud yet. Kamara was a stud. He's having a great season this year, by the way. But he's getting past his prime, but he's having a great season.
But Allen's had it for 3 years.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I don't think he had a good roster for 3 years neither, though. I don't think he had. I think your defense is typically solid. Your defense typically is solid, but offensively, I don't think it's enough there to put him in a position to say he's not a good coach or a bad coach. I think that the jury's still out.
We'll give him to y'all. You want him?
No, I'm very good. Right. only because we're good with what we got. But I don't know what he is. I really don't know what he is. I think it's more in the GM of why you guys are where you are over Dennis Allen. I'm not going to call him a bad coach.
What are you talking about? He is a damn bad head coach. Did you see what he did? Did freaking the Las Vegas or Oakland, whatever? He had the losing record 8-28, man. For me, he was just never fit to be a head coach. Like I look at him the same way I look at Josh McDaniels. I look at him the way I look at Romeo Crennel. I just coaches like that. I just don't think he was never a good head coach. There's just some coaches that's just good as coordinators, man. And I just think he's one of those guys. He's good at coordinators. I think Josh McDaniels, I don't think he's a good head coach. I think he's a good offensive coordinator. And I just don't think Dennis Allen was never a good head coach. I mean, I'm not sure if the players wanted him around, man. I don't think those guys were like. I don't hear any reports about, damn, man, Dennis Allen, we're gonna miss that guy. That guy had a huge impact on me. I heard words like that when Ahmad Gardner, or people call him Sauce Gardner, what they said about Robert Saleh. They had those guys, those coaches had a huge impact on me. I just don't think Dennis Allen was that type of coach. And being a head coach for the Saints, for the New Orleans Saints, is a huge job. It's a high profile position at the end of the day. And I just don't think Dennis Allen was never fit to be a head coach for the New Orleans Saints.
All right, let me go ahead and clear this up. I'm going to address a couple of things real quick. Dennis Allen never has been an offensive coach, period. Secondary coach, defensive quality control coordinator, defensive assistant defensive line coach, secondary coach, defensive coordinator, head coach, senior defensive assistant, defensive coordinator, and head coach. Never touched offense, period. So that's one thing. Is he a better coordinator than head coach? Absolutely. His calling card has been defense. The reason why he got fired was because, yes, we have on a 7-game losing streak. Throughout those 7 games, the reason mostly has been injuries. But even though we suffered 2 key injuries in this Panthers game, we still had enough left in the tank to beat the Panthers. And by defense being his calling card, all of the losses that we've had this year, they come down to the defense giving up a lot. Now in the blowouts, I don't blame them that much because the offense had the defense on the field a lot. But in the 1-score game against Philadelphia, defense gives up at the end. Against Atlanta, same thing. Defense gives up a long drive and they kick a field goal to win. In this game, defense, long drive, win the game at the end. There's no way that can keep happening, and defense is your calling card. Not to mention, one of the biggest things I saw was him just running the clock out in the first half when we had enough time to drive the ball down there and kick a field goal, and we lose the game by 1. So you kick a field goal there, you're up 3, you win the game by 2. So those simple coaching things, those are things as a head coach you have to be able to compute and get that done. Get that done. At least give you a chance. That you always give your team a chance to win the game by putting them in the best position to make a play. He did not do that, and that was the most glaring example of how he's been doing that over the past years. One good thing I saw that he did coaching wise over these 3 years is he brought in a good offensive coordinator this year, and you saw the results of that in the first 2 games. Had injuries not derailed that, we might not even be talking about Dennis Allen being fired right now. But it did. If you couldn't beat the Panthers with what we had on the field, and we had enough on the field to beat it, it was time for him to go. It was time for him to go. I don't think there's any way we could have rolled out anybody with a Saints uniform on Sunday with him still being the head coach. I don't think those guys would have fought for him because they know he's the reason why they lost their game ultimately. So I think it was time for him to go. I think he'll be a defensive coordinator somewhere else in the league, and he'll be good. But at this point, it's like I think he was so terrified that he was going to lose his job. He started making worse decisions as a head coach and defensive coordinator that you can't win like that. And it was time for us to move on. So, I mean, Dennis Allen, he had to go. Peace. I want Joe Brady down here. That's what
I like that.
That's what I want. My whole thing has always been every time X will say we need another coach, I'd say who. I looked at some of the candidates. I said, "Ooh, Joe Brady down here. I like that."
I said Harbaugh before. You said no.
I'm not crunk on Harbaugh. He's never done anything to make me like, "Oh, he's gonna be great." I've seen Joe Brady. Joe Brady take a.
Hey, you about to really go crazy when I tell you. You gonna see? Go ahead.
What's Joe Brady done that Harbaugh?
Please tell me.
What's he done? I've seen him do an offense, take the LSU offense to set record-setting record-setting offense in NCAA.
You know what Joe Brady's done?
He got Joe Brady's the offensive coordinator of the Buffalo Bills right now. The way Josh Allen's playing.
Number 2. That's number 2.
Yeah. Facts.
That's number 2. And just to spin off, your Harbaugh won a national championship in college. Ed Orgeron did too, and he did it in less time.
Well, Harbaugh has also been to a Super Bowl. What's Joe Brady done in the NFL?
Nothing.
Like he hadn't done. He's won as many Super Bowls as Harbaugh.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's
how many wins as a head coach?
Well, that's not a fair comparison. That's not a fair comparison because Brady's never been a head coach.
Exactly.
Dennis Allen has been a head coach. What does that mean?
Yeah, and you picked him over Harbaugh. He's ass.
Anyways, man, let's move on over to
anything else. Are we gonna say who we think they should hire?